Dressed to win and chills a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Frodan and Savitz. Welcome back to the caster's desk. It's time for the A team to bring you guys the third quarterfinal of the day. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Savitz, how you doing, man? Welcome back to America. Good to have you.
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back here, and exciting match ahead of us. Dizdemon and Grayj, both relative unknowns to the viewers back home, probably. But Dizdemon was my personal pick to maybe even take this entire tournament here. And he's bringing a solid lineup. He's bringing a Rogue and Grayj with that only Paladin of the tournament.
Yep. You have a horse in the running in Dizdemon. He is a player that's been competing for a long time. So if you're part of the French community, you've heard his name before. In fact, if you are also a StarCraft fan, and maybe a very hardcore StarCraft fan, you may have also seen his names in the Grandmasters ranking. This guy's been competing for a long time. His opponent, Grayj, still pretty new to the scene. He's only been playing for about a year. We've gotten several of those stories in the Hearthstone Championship Tour, and that's always heartwarming because you don't have to always be playing Hearthstone since the very beginning to be able to compete on a stage like this.
Yep, and here we go. That is going to be the Paladin deck from Grayj to kick things off, and Dizdemon playing his Rogue.
All right, so Paladin in a very interesting spot. They have a couple of variants that people tend to gravitate toward. The control, N'Zoth, defensive type of Paladin. And then we have this Murloc Paladin, which is starting to gravitate more towards a faster variant, maybe less healings and less defensive play and a little bit more proactive play. How do you feel about the Paladin state in the meta game, especially when it goes up against these weirder decks like Rogue?
I think it's quite alright. You have the tools to deal with something like a Conceal with your Wild Pyromancer Equality or maybe Equality Consecration. So the tools are there. It can be a little bit slow at times, and usually it's only the second anything that gets your opponent. So maybe against a Druid, for example, it might be a little bit too slow. The Malygos might come a little bit earlier than the second anything can happen. But yeah, I think that Grayj does have a good chance here in game one.
Yeah, we've seen Murloc Paladin have mixed success here in the Hearthstone Championship Tour, ranging anywhere from being wildly inconsistent and ineffective to winning the tournament outright. So I like a bold pick from Grayj, but his choices across the board do seem very interesting. We'll talk more about it, not just the Paladin, but, you know, N'Zoth Hunter, which of course is a very interesting choice. And, you know, Grayj also banned Dizdemon's Hunter too, something that a lot of people were flirting with the idea of. They're like, they don't really want to play against Shaman, but what's the second likely candidate for bans? And a lot of them actually were thinking about Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, Grayj was a little bit worried that maybe Dizdemon's Hunter would be faster than he is because of, like, you know, like the N'Zoth that you mentioned. While it can be extremely powerful, it is extremely slow. So that might have been a problematic matchup for him. Dizdemon here taking his time on turn one. Nothing to play there, obviously. I mean, he's playing Rogue, and but I do still think that it's very good to kind of take things slow, just because you might be a little bit nervous playing on the big stage and all that. So just kind of settling in and thinking about the future turns as well.
Yeah, you know, taking the first couple turns to really plan out as Rogue is pretty important, but, you know, also just kind of just reminding yourself, a lot of players during these phases of the turns just tend to talk to themselves internally, like dialogue, like, what are some of the cards I'm looking for? What are some of the important turns to really focus on? You know, for example, Rogue's always looking for a Tomb Pillager on turn 4. That's one of the big important engines that really pushes their deck. So just constantly reminding yourself, because if you're always caught up in just the turns in the moment, you sometimes tunnel too much. Look no further than just in the recent series with the Freeze Mage games. Like sometimes you're tunneling so much on just not losing because you're like playing Freeze Mage against Rogues. Like, I don't really lose this matchup. Maybe sometimes you can just kill him straight up. So you don't want to tunnel too hard in these games. Yeah,
that mislethal right there. It didn't really matter in the end. He had the game, but it's still like something that maybe if he was playing back at home at this comfortable setting, I mean, maybe he would have spotted it.
All right, so Dizdemon just goes for the hero powers. It could also be the strategy where he's just trying to maximize the time given. We had a couple of ropers coming through the HCT entrance. Some of them have had success, some of them haven't.
Yep, questing adventurers. He's finding something here that it's probably not the time for it just yet. You don't want to be burning it through your stuff too quickly, but it's a nice card to have, and he does have a Conceal already, and with the preparation, it could get pretty big, pretty fast.
Rogue has traditionally been able to punish heavily decks that are super passive. Has that changed at all with the Questing Adventurer list, do you feel?
I think the Questing Adventurer list actually punishes even more, because you can put so much pressure early on with an early Conceal, for example. Some classes might not have good tools to deal with it. For example, Druids don't necessarily even play multi in their deck, so if you get like a 5/5 Questing Adventurer on the board early on, it can be very difficult to deal with. because Swipe, for example, wouldn't kill it.
You know what blows my mind is that rogues are also beginning to cut cards like SI7 Agent from their list, and that's one of the iconic cards of the class, along with Sab and Eviscerate Preparation. Why are they cutting these amazing 3-mana minions? It's because there's too many 3-mana minions to play with Questing Adventurers?
I guess there's just too many. So many 3-drops do really fit the rogue class very well, but Questing Adventure now, especially with Barns, it has really kind of like found its place, I suppose. There's even more good Barns outcomes now, because it's not just getting that Auctioneer or getting maybe Doom Pillager for an extra coin, but also just getting that Questing Adventure on the board early on can lead to some quick wins. Dizdemon there 3 turns in a row he has roped.
Yeah, I mean, it also could be a mind game too. I mean, Dizdemon, he's been on the competitive stages before for other games. We mentioned StarCraft, for example. Grayj's still kind of new to it all. He just said that a friend introduced him to Hearthstone and started playing for a year, not really being competitive, and then all of a sudden was like realizing that he was getting a lot better than his friends, started trying to compete more often, and then now he's here in the preliminary playing his weird stuff. And it could be feeding into just the lack of experience. You know, you start getting tilted and start getting annoyed at your opponent. Start focusing a little bit less on the games.
It's going to make Grayj make some mistakes potentially, like if he wants to, because he's known for playing extremely quickly, so like maybe he would get frustrated and just like kind of slip up at some point. It's
true. People who play fast tend to also get extra annoyed at people who play slow.
Absolutely. And well, this is like, I think it's kind of like the first turn for Dizdemon where there's an actual decision. Like he could just go for the Questing Adventure right now, and looks like he is going to do it. That means that we're also going to see the preparation here. He does have to go with the Conceal as well, otherwise the Questing Adventure would potentially just die to a true silver champion.
Yeah, there you go. And because the stealth also is unable to be targeted by Elder Peacekeeper, and Grayj just has to let that Questing Adventure stay, and it's a lot of explosive potential. Wow, Coin Solemn Vigil. He says, I need a way to deal with this in the next couple of turns, maybe pick up the Pyromancer.
Yeah, certainly not the way that you usually want to play your draw 2 cards. I mean, compared to like Arcane Intellect, he had to burn the coin there, also missing out on the hero power. But for his defense, there wasn't any great play available for him, and like you said, he needs to find a way to deal with that questing as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, does have way to deal with it this next turn with the Elder Peacekeeper, but that's already after the damage is done. And also, it's a very temporary band-aid because the Questing Adventure will continue to grow with every single card being played.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. He might even have to consider something like Equality Bluegill just to completely remove it from the board.
Oh, man.
But that's not how you want to be using your Equality. Like, Wild Pyromancer is the card that Grayj is hoping to draw next.
Okay, well, Dizdemon already committed to the attack, so anything else at this point would be either misdamaged or if he just kind of changes his mind halfway through.
Yeah, no. Oh, he gets the Wild Pyromancer, so this game just got a... Oh, he's not going to go for it, though.
He's going to be a little bit greedy.
Okay.
Well, I think he was maybe anticipating his opponent's hand to be a little bit more all-in at that point. You know, if they play in Questing Adventure, they use 3 or 4 cards early on. Perhaps they have Cold Bloods to follow it up. So maybe he feels like, yeah, I'm a little bit safer. I have Tyrion Ragnaros, I have Equality and Pyromancer and Ivory Knight. Very defensive cards.
Yeah.
I have time that I could probably climb back if he can't burst me.
Regardless of that, like the Wild Pyromancer was definitely a great pickup. Like there will be a moment for it later. But now, if you're Dizdemon, you might feel like maybe that questing on the board would already be enough of a threat, but he is going to just go for the preparation and the fan here, and Grayj being patient with the Wild Pyromancer Equality is going to get rewarded.
Yep, not before some more damage gets put in, though.
Yeah, that's true.
At least 8 more, putting your opponent down to 16. And Dizdemon also picks up another Auctioneer with the Azure Drake as well, so there's still more card draw engine. That's one of the things Rogue fears the most.
Yep, and very quick Wild Pyro Equality here. Nothing about... I guess with the last 2 mana, he could be considering hero powering Bluegill or the Blood Mage Thanos. He's choosing to go with the Blood Mage just to kind of like cycle and maybe improve his options for the next turn.
Yeah, Blood Mage Thanos, a very interesting inclusion as well. You know, most of the time you see like a 2 Loot Hoarder list, and then he chooses to split one with the Blood Mage Thanos. What's the thinking here, Savid?
It's actually quite impactful sometimes when you get to do it in combination with Consecration. Having the 3 damage AoE instead of the 2 damage can make a huge difference, especially against something like Shaman, where there's tunnel jogs and and Feral Spirit, a lot of three toughness minions. It's also an additional card draw, so like we, well, some players have like kind of added it as an extra cycle on top of two loot hoarders, but we do see that one loot hoarder has been cut to make space for it in this case. But yeah, it does trade a little bit worse for early minions. Like if your opponent plays a 3-2, you would much rather have a loot hoarder in that case to be able to get that trade off. So I don't know if it's better than loot hoarder, but in some cases certainly.
Yeah. Plus, you never know what you pick off Ivory Knight. Maybe that ends up helping you there.
Also true.
For now, Grayj has very clean turn, just removing this Azure Drake with the 4 damage source, setting up Doomsayer so that way he can, you know, in the best case scenario, have a very clean 8 mana minion just pop onto the board. Yep,
very strong play here. That's I would say it's as good as it gets there with that 7 mana. For next turn, he can play an 8-drop on an empty board, but considering that he's playing against a rogue, I think it's an easy decision to go for the Ragnar's Light Lord instead of Tyrion to play around Sap in particular.
Looking at if Dizdemon has a clean way to remove everything and play the Van Cleave, it looks like he's just a little bit off mana, if I've counted correctly. Because you know you can present a really big threat. You're with this play, you're anticipating that your opponent has a very big 8 mana minion to play. So obviously you want to disrupt it by playing your own big minion instead.
So Shadow Strike backstab unfortunately doesn't work on that Doomsayer, so he would have to use the Eviscerate or Deadly Poison. Yeah. So it's a difficult turn. And this is certainly a turn that I'm not surprised to see anybody be roping, because it does require quite a lot of consideration. He's just going to choose to let the Doomsayer go off and hope for no Ragnar's Light Lord, but there it is.
Yeah, Ragnar's Light Lord really powerful, just to not only heal, but also threaten damage per turn. And if you can't cleanly remove it, he can heal himself, and he keeps getting that repetitive 8 damage every turn.
That is absolutely huge for Grayj. We can see the card, so the Tyrion would have worked out just fine as well, because there is no sap, but you have to play around the sap.
So Shadow Strike Eviscerate will kill Ragnar's Light Lord, and that gives you 4 mana remaining, allow you to play the Deadly Poison and the Van Cleef as well. So that could generate your own 8/8 minion, remove, and start pushing damage right back.
Trying to see if there's like a way to maybe get the Barnes in the board as well, but it can't quite kill it with just like a backstab and the Eviscerate. So after removing the Light Lord, he can only get 1 minion on the board.
What's the minion that you're really searching for with Barnes this late into the game, if anything? Just maybe a Tomb Pillager for your Gadgets in, or what?
Yeah, that would be okay. Or like the last questing adventure, maybe. But it's pretty optimistic, and I kind of like this. Just going for the extra card draw. Yeah, he could have also he had a chance to pick up a preparation, in which case he could have maybe been able to get something more on the board. Maybe the Van Cleef, but does not find a prep. Oh, he actually, I believe he did play both of his preparation very early on, though. So that was not possible. Yeah,
he had the early questing adventure preparation, and then he had the Azure Drake prep Phantom Knives, I believe.
That's right.
Or the Auctioneer prep Phantom Knives.
Yeah.
So Grayj now has more removal for this Auctioneer. Has to start kind of thinking about how much Murlocs he's played, because he has the Anyfin, he drew the second Bluegill, and I believe that's 8 damage that he has just for the 10 mana.
Yep.
So he was just counting to see if there's a possibility if he can hit face twice and force his opponent out, because we do know that Rogue doesn't really play healing anymore, especially since the Earthring Farseer just hasn't seen play for a long time. But it's not possible, so.
No, and leaving the Auctioneer, it's just so dangerous, giving all those free cards, and Sap on the Bluegill, something like that would have actually been like a possible play, kind of like to stop the Anyfin from happening.
Sap on the Bluegill.
Well, maybe not. I mean, that's yeah.
In a really weird world, that might actually end up being the play.
I mean, sapping a 2-mana charge, but you can't play both that and the Anyfin next turn, so we would have stopped that. But Dizdemon here, now he's going to go for the Barnes, maybe hoping for the questing adventure. That's one of the best, if not the best card for him to pick up here. Wow, that is great for Dizdemon.
So now he can remove.
Yeah, and this is going to be the Van Cleef turn, I believe. You can't really pass up on it, I think.
Absolutely, just put as much pressure as you can, so that way you're the one presenting the damage, and if your opponent plays anything, he has to spend it removing.
Yep, and
Oh, I apologize. 2 war leaders were
There
played.
were 2 war leaders, yeah.
I
So
thought it
that
was
is
only
actually
one.
just gonna do it exactly lethal.
Oh, that was really well played then. I miscounted.
Wow, yeah, me as well. I
Yeah.
thought it was one war leader only, but yeah, that's wow. Grayj with that anything. So you see, sapping the blue kill. That's what he needed.
Oh,
to do.
you're right. You need to set the blue gill. Oh my goodness, that changed the entire last couple turns perfectly. Because, you know, I was actually counting too and thinking about whether or not he would actually do damage with the weapon over 2 turns, and actually that would have been lethal even if it was 8 damage. But then you would leave up the gadget action here, which is too risky.
Yeah.
So this is a very well played game, and you know he mentioned about how comfortable he is with his deck. So a job well done. Job well done, by the way, to Grayj again for being able to plot it out. You know, Rogue does tend to have the upper hand against a lot of those slower decks. So Grayj already getting off to a good start, and he's got some of those other weird curveballs ready to go. He's got his Control Warrior with Yogg-Saron. He's got his Hunter with N'Zoth, the Corruptor.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the N'Zoth plays out. I believe he has to get the right matchup for it. If he cues his Hunter into a Warrior, he's probably going to be doing great. But what we have at our hands is going to be a Control Warrior mirror match.
It's been a while, man. Yeah. It's been a while since we've seen Control Warrior versus Control Warrior, to the point where it's, you know, it's kind of like down memory lane, so to speak. This matchup has a lot of areas that you can mess up, and that's probably why a lot of Warrior players actually really like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of approaches to this as well. Like, do you start avoiding card draw from the early on already, like, kind of like trying to stay ahead on the card count, maybe so your opponent would fatigue first? Or do you maybe play your hand a little bit faster and just go for maybe a quick Golden Monkey? So the way that this usually works is that the early game is extremely like slow paced, and there might be quite a bit of hero powering. But as the game progresses, like the Golden Monkey showdown, it's going to be epic. It always is.
I love it, and they both have Elite Starseeker, Golden Elite Starseekers for the actual Golden Monkeys. If you don't have a Golden version of Elite Starseeker in your collection, or even in your decks as you play it, you are a heretic. You need to have your Golden Monkey actually golden.
It's so, and you even get the golden map to the Golden Monkey. What a value there. So
it is, man. It's like getting infinite card value.
If there's only one card you craft in gold, I think Elise is a good choice.
Elise is a good choice. Yogg-Saron is also a good choice. All the spells go in gold as well. So yeah, you mentioned that there will be a lot of hero powering, and the armor count really does matter. I think going first does tend to give you the armor count advantage significantly. And also the fact that Dizdemon has Justicar Trueheart in his opening hand. That's actually one of the few mulligans you go super hard for in this matchup.
Oh yeah, if you could choose only one card in your starting hand, it would absolutely be Justicar Trueheart in this particular matchup, because you know that there won't be any early aggression, so having something like Fiery Vorax, which by the way is like the greatest card to have in many other matchups, in this one doesn't really do all that much.
Yeah, it pretty much kills just Ravaging Ghouls, and if their opponent's you know, bold enough to play Acolyte on the board. And it's also cool because the matchup evolves at different states as well. Like you said, sometimes you actually do want to play faster if your hand kind of dictates it. Yep. Say you play Elite Starseeker on 4, and then you draw the map, and it's like, oh wow, actually I can play a little bit faster. There are instances where being aggressive and more tempo-oriented can out-resource your opponent. They can't keep up with the wave of threats of early legendaries.
I think that what you really want to do is you kind of like want to limit the card draw if it's possible. But sometimes it's just like things might not be going your way. Maybe you have a full hand and you just like need to make something happen. You know that the late game is not going to favor you anyway. So you just take that as fast as possible Golden Monkey strategy and just like go for it. Don't avoid the card draw. Don't really mind the fatigue as much. Just play the monkey and I hope to get some good stuff.
There's also another advantage for players going first, is that the player going second has more cards because of the coin, so they often have to dump. And it's like you said, you might end up seeing the point where both players just hold until 9 cards every turn, and the moment they draw a 10th card, they throw their least important card out. Maybe, you know, the Ravaging, maybe the Revenge, these kinds of things.
Like something like Revenge is very common that people just like throw away, or just maybe equip your weapon and just like pass, maybe go face, even though the 3 damage doesn't matter that much. Here...
Would you equip the weapon, or no?
Probably not. I don't think it really serves any purpose, and he might want to go directly for the Gore Hull, but I wouldn't hate it either, but it seems a little bit unnecessary. He doesn't have the coin, he only has 7 cards in his hand right now, so there aren't any real issues with just keeping it for now.
I do want to say that in terms of the deck list and how they match up, we did mention that Dizdemon is bringing the N'Zoth version, which has Death Rattle, such as Infested Tauren, to really help supplant it, like Karen Bloodhoof, giving a lot of value. And then Grayj has Yogg Saron, so I feel like Grayj, because he's playing a lot more spells-oriented stuff, will be in a pretty big disadvantage because he's got things like Bloodseeker, which won't exactly be that impactful, versus his opponent who has more like meaty stuff to present as threats.
And even the Yogg Saron, as powerful as it can be, it quite often draws cards, and then drawing cards might not be something that you really want in this matchup. So Yogg overall might be a card that you just never play, and you just try to switch it to a different legendary just to like avoid the card draw.
Oh, so you would convert Yogg Saron. You have them go through the Golden Monkey manufacturer process. Okay.
Just try to get something else from here. So just like by looking at the deck list, I would favor Dizdemon in this with his N'Zoth list. N'Zoth, yeah, it's really powerful when you get it off to respawn something like a Cairn and Sylvanas, obviously, but there is that brawl, and there's usually a lot of removal available, but it does kind of like often give you a kind of a card advantage there, just going forward.
Okay, just making sure that Elise can't get any value in killing off whatever could be summoned through Ironforge Portal. It's like you said, when does Fiery War actually really get a lot of value in this matchup? It's difficult.
Yeah, like in combination with Slam, you can remove some minions, but then again, like both players usually have more removal than the opponent has threats no matter what, so it's fine to play here. Even with the Gorehowl in his hand, he obviously had like the option to just use both of the Fiery War Axe charges maybe before playing the Gorehowl. Here, anything else but the Justicar would be very shocking, I think.
Yeah, Justicar on 6 is extremely powerful just to start hero powering as soon as you can every single turn. Getting that armor advantage does just end up winning you the game early on. And you can kind of see the difference too already starting to shape up by the fact that Dizdemon will be taking 9 willingly from the Elise, but still be not too far behind the armor count.
Yeah. The Justicar is going to help catch back up on the life totals, and this also curves out kind of well into either Gorehowl or Ironforge Portal and the tank up.
Grayj has a removal, and cards like Shield Block also. Yeah, you want to gain armor, but do you really want to dig deeper into your deck?
Usually you don't. You just try to hold on to that as long as possible. And this game definitely looks like it's going to be a long one, so to say. Like neither player is unlikely to go for like a card draw strategy. And
interesting.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm actually not sure why he would do this, because like at 9 mana you can get both the tank up and equip the Gorehowl, and like, what is he gonna remove with that? So I maybe would have preferred like a Ironforge Portal tank up, but his opponent does have a lot of cards in his hand, so if you played the Ironforge Portal, I guess a removal would have been a usable card for Grayj, while now he kind of struggles to find a play zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind the Gorehowl too much.
Yeah, because he has too many cards.
Yep.
So what is he going to do here? Cycle one of his cards, perhaps just throw out the coin?
Yep, not bad at all. I mean, I would probably be looking at that, just throwing away the coin. He was hovering over the Acolyte, so maybe he is considering something like just try to like draw some, but I don't know about that. Like,
Acolyte can really ruin your entire game plan. Considering that if you just throw it out, your opponent can mess with it through Ravaging Ghouls. You know that he has Slam. Of course, we know the Ravaging Ghoul Revenge would be disastrous to draw too many cards.
And like the only card that can really be used in offensive manner here to attack his opponent is the Chromas. So, like, I would probably just throw away the coin.
Yeah.
And Grayj seems to agree, and he's just gonna do that.
He's not desperate enough to just throw out Revenge or Ravaging Ghoul just yet. So Dizdemon getting that initiative, and this is again one of those things where we're talking about going first. You have that little edge because you can just throw it out there.
Yep. Still like thinking about the Gorehowl equip just a tiny bit. Like, did you need it? Like, you could have just done it the next turn. Here, I believe seeing that Grayj doesn't have any like good proactive plays, I think you skip the Ironforge Portal and just go for the tank up and kind of like force Grayj to making another awkward turn.
Yeah, I think it's just like you said. By playing Ironforge Portal, you give your opponent ability to use his removal spells, like Bash.
Yeah, so like something like Bash that now would maybe be forced to just be thrown away is now something that he has to just like use inefficiently.
Not bad. Pretty good considering You know, it could be a lot worse. There's 1/1s that you don't want from the Ironforge portal. And I guess that's the bar that I set whenever I play Ironforge portal.
I think that's pretty much the average result, like getting a 4-4 or like a 3-5. 4-5 is like slightly above average. And sometimes you might get the flame-rated faceless, but yeah, I mean, that's only one card.
Yeah, sometimes the Hungry Dragon, sometimes a little bit better. But the Gore Howl takes care of everything.
Yeah.
And Dizdemon's going to make it up with that tank up. Grayj once again on the play here. He needs to do something.
Oh, man. Finds a Yorkshire on. So if Grayj really does not want to play any of his cards here, but he's going to have to because he does have a full hand. So maybe just a Chrome, Faith Phase 4. He knows it's not going to stick around. There will be either Execute or a Shield Slam.
Yep, this shows flexibility in his understanding of like how this matchup goes. Well, you can already tell that both these guys are really accommodated with or accustomed to the matchup. They're making sure not to overextend resources, not drawing too fast.
Yep.
But Grommash is rarely used as that finisher. It really is just damage at one point, or even removal.
Oh, yeah.
You just like remove something that's really annoying from your opponent. Back when people played the smaller minions, Grom could just easily attack it, trade, and then get executed.
Yeah, like you said, I also like it just being used as maybe a removal on some kind of minion that has been played. Maybe like just killing off Ravaging Ghoul and then just seeing the execute happen.
Right.
So it's just not gonna stick around. This demon here, Ravaging Ghoul, execute an option. He could also go for the revenge.
Sure. Allows him to just use revenge in a spot where it doesn't really get much otherwise. So that's fine too.
Like once again, like avoiding playing any minions. Oh, that's a decent pickup for Grayj because now he is able to kind of like skip his turn without wasting any of his cards.
That's what it's come down to, just trying to pass without trying to use any of your resources.
Pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if it just saw like a tank up pass here too and no care.
He's at 9 cards, so he can just afford to do it one more turn and then force Grayj to do something.
He could do it, yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't mind the care either. It is pretty sweet to like drop on an empty board, and if there was something like Sylvana, Shield Slam, he could just make the same move and steal it back.
Oh man, is it really that time?
Oh man.
Wow, super fast Yogg-Saron.
Mind Control maybe?
Mind Control would be nasty.
There hasn't been that many spells. Let's see how it works out.
Been like I can't even remember. It just feels like 4 or 5. Oh no, never mind. Just 3 spells.
Wow, what a crazy Yogg right there. 3 spells, buff his opponent's care and Lava Burst face.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that was such a tease.
I mean, it didn't backfire at least, so there's that. Something like Sprint would have been a disaster, or obviously the Astral Communion to discard his entire hand.
Yeah, I feel like there definitely could have been a lot more worse outcomes. He shredded his opponent's armor count down a little bit.
Yep. But that could be another easy target for the Gore Howl. If he wants to save his life total, he could also choose to Shield Slam. But yeah, I like using the weapon here. Like life total is not really something that he has to be too worried about at this stage. He's still at 30. I mean, 30 is like obviously very good, but his opponent does have quite a bit more.
Yeah, it was at 50 the previous turn. Now hanging out at 45.
Yep. I think that the game at this stage, like Grayj probably wants to draw with this. Oh, he's not gonna draw with. Okay. I'm just like, oh, I think that Grayj is not doing so well in this situation. So, if I was Grayj, I would at least be considering like kind of like switching gears here and maybe just go for the fast monkey.
Yeah. He already played Elite Starseeker, so the monkey map is at least in the deck.
I don't really feel like he has a very good chance with this particular hand in like a very long game, but we'll see. Maybe it works out.
Alright, Ironforge portal.
Have the artifact.
Another Elite Starseeker. Of course, you don't get the map off of that summon from the Ironforge portal.
Nope, Battle Cry does not go off.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I actually really like about Grayj's play is he recognizes Yogg-Saron can have an impact, both positively and negatively, but the more spells he plays, the higher chance it has to negatively impact him because you're inevitably going to hit card draw spells. So better to play Yogg-Saron early, and in the best case scenario where your opponent like trades his Cairn or does some other stuff or doesn't have a minion, you might be able to get some more damage into the minion body. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. Grayj here. Well, he could bash that and hit it with the weapon. It's probably what he will do. This is just it's gonna be a really rough game for Grayj. I mean, the game is still kind of early, but Grayj is in a lot of trouble because like this demon is doing so well that he might even win this like without monkeying and just saving his Nozot potentially for Grayj's potential monkey. That would be a huge moment because like before the Nozot has been played from Dizdemon, it's almost like Grayj can't even play his golden monkey because it's just going to be so powerful with Sylvanas and all the death rattles.
Oh man, Pitlord, another really strong
Ooh,
option as well.
Definitely one of the better ones.
Yep, just Shield Slam has a lot of removal options. Even if he didn't have it, he still has Execute. I'm still looking to pick up Justicar True Heart or potentially his own Gore Howl to start whacking away as well.
There's the Nozot.
Zoth right now brings back just Cairn, I believe. I don't believe any Infested Taurens were played despite 2 being in the deck.
If I was Dizdemon, I would 100% hold on to that. Probably like never play it unless there is the golden monkey from Grayj's side. No need to play anything, right? He has 9 cards in his hand, so.
Yeah, 12 cards remaining in Dizdemon's deck. We're a little bit over halfway, people. A little bit over halfway. Maybe not even. Depends on how deep we go into the fatigue situation. And it will go to fatigue.
Yeah, it will. Blood too. I got such a miserable card. It doesn't really do anything. All it's good for is to be replaced by a random legendary.
Yeah, I can anticipate that with, double Revenge and Blood to Ichors. This was supposed to be targeted more at the aggressive strategy that be coming at him, but was not able to line it up, and instead he just got one of the slower decks that are currently in the lineups.
Yeah, not only is the matchup a little bit like bad for Grayj, in my opinion, he also had the worst start of the 2 players. In particular, Dizdemon picking up that early Justicar while Grayj didn't get it. It's quite impactful.
Now, one thing that also I really like about this matchup is that even though Sylvanas is great, usually in control mirrors, specifically in this matchup too, Gore is also a pretty good draw for Grayj. Is that Sylvanas does tend to become a liability as the game draws on as well, because if you play Sylvanas on an empty board and not immediately Shield Slam her or do something impactful, your opponent can force you to take their Acolyte of Pain and then make it draw.
Yeah, multiple cards too.
Yeah.
So quite often you kind of hold on to the Sylvanas and maybe use it in combination with the Shield Slam to steal a meaningful minion from your opponent.
Yeah, so despite the fact that normally Sylvanas coming back with Zoth is an amazing thing, that might be put on hold for a while as well. That's why you might see Sylvanas just on the bench until further notice.
Dizdemon just playing the ghoul into the weapon.
Still no sign of Justicar.
Yeah. No signs of Justicar, and just like the armor totals are really starting to favor Dizdemon quite heavily at this stage, and it's only gonna get worse.
Is it time for Grommash to come out here for Dizdemon?
I think so.
Just to send him out.
Seems like the only play that isn't kind of wasteful. Bashing your opponent's face doesn't do anything. Using the Revenge also doesn't do anything at this point, so kind of like the Grommash. It doesn't do much, but it's still a play that doesn't waste anything. On the other hand, I guess Bash is a card that is kind of a worse removal than Grommash. If you're planning to use Grommash for the purpose of removing your opponent's minion instead of dealing like the 10 damage to face or so, I guess Bash can be a better choice here.
Sure.
Other
yeah,
than
I mean, very easily, like Grommash uses 4 damage and then Bash is 3. You're gaining that armor anyways. In this case, Grommash, for example, is much better. So now Dizdemon has a couple of choices. You can play the Infested Tauren as well. Just kind of complicate the attacks from the Gore Howl if he gets a 7 anything behind it.
Yep, the Tauren seems like a fairly obvious play here. It's going to get dealt with quite easily, but it's just it's something that doesn't get wasted. Oh, there's the Justicar.
Okay. Maybe that's the... Is it too late, though? I mean, he's 30 armor behind his opponent.
It might be, but it does give him a little bit of hope here. At least the life totals are not going to get more and more in Dizdemon's favor.
How high do you think Dizdemon will get up?
I'm gonna say 100.
100?
Yeah.
I'll be the jerk on the Price is Right and say 99.
Wow. I mean, if there's with players had something like around 10 card remaining, so it's gonna get to 100 before we get to the monkey stages, I believe. Because he's already at what, like almost 90.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's getting really high up there. Grayj still doesn't have much of a play. Doesn't want to replace his Gore Howl, so he's just gonna use Revenge. And this plays look rather really silly if you're new to Hearthstone, but The whole point is you're trying to not die to that fatigue damage, and you realistically will start seeing players draw to 9 to 10 damage fatigue in just about a couple hours from now.
A couple of hours. We'll see how long it takes, but
All right.
yeah, here I think now it's finally time for the Chrome. Like there's no alternatives. You don't want to shield block. You don't want to play an Acolyte, and like there's obviously nothing to shield slam. Brawl also unavailable. It's like the only play he can do.
And Grayj has very easy removal, but he's also stuck similar in position as he was last turn, so I anticipate removal of this.
Yep, you could also like steal it with the Sylvanas if you wanted to, but this is kind of an easy play. He also gets rid of 2 cards from his hand, which is a positive thing in this situation, so now he won't have to play anything if he doesn't want to for a couple of turns, or at least 1 turn.
Another Infestatorin, allowing Dizdemon to take it even slower.
Yeah,
it's a pretty important draw. I think at this point, though, for Grayj, he wouldn't be upset about getting the monkey.
No, that seems to be the only way, in my eyes, that could give him a chance. But then again, like the Nozot in Dizdemon's hand, and also the Sylvanas. So if there was a monkey, Dizdemon could just first play the Sylvanas and then go for an extremely powerful Nozot. And it's very hard to deal with the random legendaries, even if they are good, when there's like a huge board from your opponent.
I like to get another card count here on the decks to see how many cards remaining, because the real game, in my opinion, begins when there's 8 cards or less of these, and that's where you can start really managing things in. Oh, 4 cards. Are we here already? Wow, this road trip was much faster than I anticipated.
Yeah, Dizdemon might have been roping a little bit with his rogue, but he has been playing a fair bit faster this time around, and I'm kind of happy about that.
And we're introduced with a hard choice already. You know, he doesn't exactly have the monkey to answer with N'Zoth, because he knows if N'Zoth gets played, then he gets brawled. Does he actually dig a little bit deeper into his deck?
No, he has to shield slam his own guy, I think.
Shield slam his own 2/2?
That's the only thing he can do.
Oh my goodness.
What
kind of world has this come to?
He has to do it. I mean, you can't play the Sylvanas, you can't play the N'Zoth. It's just, that is, I strongly believe that is the correct play in this situation.
I don't think it's the right play based off a morality point of view. Slime lives matter, Savitz. Oh,
Summoning portal. I don't think that's going to be doing much.
Imagine that with the monkey, though.
Get like Aviana.
Yeah, you can play. Oh, man. That is the wombo combo.
How does it work? Do you get... No, maybe it doesn't do anything.
I mean,
you can get the Aviana easier, though. So then you'll have like more mana available for the Aviana turn. Right. That'll work, but... yeah.
I mean, you play that so you can play Aviana and a few other things, too.
Right.
At least our secret finally coming to hand for Dizdemon, so Grayj is very well aware of the next few turns. I think Dizdemon has 2 cards remaining in his hand, or 3 cards remaining in his deck. So in the next 3 turns or so, Grayj will know that his opponent has everything.
Yeah, neither of these players have drawn any cards during this game, and both have added 1 with the Elise Star Seeker. So the card counts, I believe, are exactly even at this point. Whether it is like 3 or 4 cards. I think it's like 2 or 3 cards, I think. We saw the card count there, which was 4, and yeah. So now after drawing that one, he's back to that because of the Elise.
Right. So...
Fiery War Axe now.
Yeah, Fiery War Axe, not necessarily bad to just equip if you just feel like Gorehal's value is done. It's already killed 4 things, now it could probably kill a 5th.
Yeah, I mean, after that attack, it's going to be down to 2 attack anyway. Ooh, he was just going to play Brawl.
Yeah, you don't really get many times Brawl value.
I mean, I don't hate
Summoning
that.
Portal.
I wasn't really thinking about that as an option, but it seems fine to me.
Yeah, it's clever. I like it.
Yeah.
Does he want to attack this?
Yeah.
What if his opponent gets the monkey and then be able to... I guess he's okay with that, too.
I mean, if he leaves that up, I guess the second Brawl is more likely to have positive outcomes.
Yeah, that's also true. I remember back in the days when, in this matchup specifically, you just brawl with the moment your opponent plays with Dr. Doom. That might be the best value you ever get.
Yeah.
Okay, Dizdemon still just waiting for Grayj to take action. Grayj still has no monkey in his hand.
Yeah.
He's still just nowhere to be found.
Really, like, I don't see how exactly Grayj is going to be able to pull this one off, because he will be the first one who has to monkey. But then again, the Nozot is just waiting there. Dizdemon drawing the map. How many cards? He has 10 cards right now, so I would expect to see the Fiery War Axe probably getting equipped here.
Okay. Digging a little bit deeper.
Oh,
man,
great
more.
straw.
Oh, man. Just equips the Fiery War Axe. Gets the Gorehowl out of the way. And what armor count are we at?
I believe we are at 92.
Oh, man.
So just 2 more turns. We'll be there. Last
Wow! The 30th card
no.
being the Golden Monkey, and Grayj is not happy to see that.
Yeah, he could like shield block to just go for it right now, or but it might be the map still, so he wouldn't even have mana, I believe, too. Like.
Right.
Oh, he could if he skipped the tank up. He has the option here to maybe slam his own thing, or maybe revenge it. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So there goes that portal. We saw a shield slam from Dizdemon on his own slime, and now we see a revenge from Grayj to remove his own portal.
Yeah, that's why no one likes Garrosh, man. He just kills anybody.
Yep.
Regardless of allegiance.
Wow, and
Slam?
this is pretty bad for Dizdemon.
What's wrong with these? Where's the monkey? The monkey is just not, he's calling in sick.
Last card for both players. Yeah. I mean, Dizdemon looking at four cards that draw cards, 4 cards that cannot be played, and 2 cards that he needs to save for later.
Yeah, man.
It's
Golden Monkey is totally playing hooky. He's shield slamming his own Sylvanas.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good strong play there, because like obviously otherwise Grayj would have been able to like donate the Acolyte to Dizdemon.
Oh man, what a ridiculous outcome! It instantly plays a map to the Golden Monkey. That's right. Take those yoga pants off. You're coming into work.
He has to do it, but it's just he knows that Nozod is coming, and it's going to bring all 4 Death Rattle minions from Dizdemon.
Oh, Morose.
Oh,
there you go.
Well, that's actually decent.
He's got the Morose Acid Ball combo.
Wow. What else is there? We have a Confessor, Pale Tress.
We have a Captain Greenskin on an actual weapon.
2 Gruels. I don't think that's going to be good enough for that.
Yeah. I mean, there are cards that are pretty annoying to deal with. What can Confessor Pale just summon that could help him come back? Is there anything that we can think of?
I mean, Therion is usually pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. But this board that he's looking at right now, like there's not really any card that would properly deal with it. Acid Mode, yeah, it can help remove some of it, but there's still going to be so much remaining after. So he's just going to go for like the Desperation. Pale Tress hope to pick up something that would be like spectacular, but I can't think of a minion that would save him. Oh. Wait, what?
Ice Howl. Ice Howl, of course, very powerful to attack minions, but can't really do much. You're going to hope that Sylvanas steals a 1-1. Okay.
It does.
It does, so that could have been worse.
Yep.
And Dizdemon has Brawl. He also can play Brawl in his own monkey afterwards. A lot of options. You can also just cleanly remove almost everything anyways without using Brawl and just play Monkey for the fact that you get an extra card, extra legendary minion.
Just like he definitely wants to use the Execute. There's no doubt about that. He will use the Execute here. Could he save it for later? But in any case, like he will not play the Golden Monkey before the Execute has been used. I wouldn't mind just seeing it here, maybe going for his own Golden Monkey afterwards. Because after that, the hand is going to be pretty much dead. Like it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, precisely. So, Dizdemon, let's see. Oh, slamming. Just keep it as much board presence as you can. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, he does have that Brawl, and he's in such a great spot right now that I wouldn't blame him for just like holding on to his monkey and just like letting his opponent try to make some kind of power play. And like Grayj here, he needed 4 Tyrions or so. Like, this is not it. Like the 2 Gruels are in the Captain Greenskin. Not quite gonna cut it.
Yeah, just you can't play it all at the same time.
Yeah, I think we might just see a concede here. Like none of these cards are any good.
Nah, I'm looking at it, and I completely agree. I think, you know, Grayj is stuck in a really bad position. If he had empty board potential, like Hogger's not bad. If he was able to present some of these threats.
Yeah.
But it's just not the case here, and Dizdemon's going to continue to wear his opponent down.
Yeah, but it just has like a very easy trade in the board too for this.
Armor count, by the way, is at 95, which means that if he tanks up, he's at 99.
Oh,
and
man.
I believe that'd be 1 off of the armor prediction that you based.
Throw down.
Just want to say that I also said 99. Just put it out there. Here we go. Golden Monkey time. And he gets
way better. That is so much better than what the
Archthief for Fam is also super
Grayj.
nasty.
Yeah. Archthief for Fam, that is the MVP. There's even Medivh synergy. Like he could play with a Medivh and then play the 10 mana spell from Archthief.
Whoa!
Not that he really needs it in this situation, but still, like kind of a cute synergy there.
Another Gruul to join the party.
Grayj is probably at this point just thinking about what deck to queue up for the next game.
Yeah, also, you know, there's also a possibility his opponent has just very bad legendaries as well.
I suppose.
Like Nat Pagels and Lore Walker Chose.
2 Bagels and maybe like some, like you said, something along those lines. Just like card draw minions.
Yeah, but that's probably going to spell the end of the line here. It's been a great journey. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour through Warrior Alley, but we're going to wrap it up really soon here because Grayj can't really hold on with these quality minions coming down on him.
Yeah, it looked like it was Dizdemon's game from a very early point already. I would have preferred if Grayj kind of went for something like a little bit more desperate there. But then again, if he goes for a strategy where he draws cards, Dizdemon can just match that up and just stay like 2 cards behind. Maybe because that does allow his opponent to be drawing more as well. So I don't really think there was a way out of this one for Grayj besides an incredibly much stronger Golden Monkey than what his opponent got, which is not what happened.
Yeah, I do think that you're onto something, Saviz. I think if perhaps he understood that if he played this, you know, tit-for-tat game where, like, I'm trading 1 for 1, I'm just going to be really far behind, so I need to take that risk for the Golden Monkey earlier, but he didn't, and as a result, the expected result happened. I
mean, you saw it on his face when he realized that it's the last card in his deck. It was something that he needed earlier. Maybe like if he got a fast monkey and his opponent's Nozot was somewhere at the bottom, maybe there was a chance, but it's the way it worked out. That was Dizdemon's game.
All right, well, one of them is the Warrior, which you can go back to. If you guys are just joining us, we had Control Warrior Mirror just recently, and it ended in Dizdemon's favor, tying up the series. Now we have Druid Shaman Rogue up against Druid Warrior Hunter. Remember, Grayj has that N'Zoth Hunter, which I'm looking forward to, because I haven't seen N'Zoth really play out in Hunter the way people have theory crafted for months now. People always said, yeah, you know, there's a lot of death rattles in Hunter. Why not just play N'Zoth in it? Yeah,
it's a little bit unfortunate situation for Grayj though, that because his opponent's Warrior has gotten its win, so he will not be able to match his Hunter against the Warrior, which would have been the optimal matchup for it.
All right, so let's go into a Druid versus Druid. The mirrors continue here. Likely the only mirror that's going to remain in this series. As we have the opening hands shape up, we do have that Innervate from Dizdemon, which can be really powerful, to Innervate that Mire Keeper to get that early ramp.
Yeah, both hands looking a tiny bit clunky right now, even for Dizdemon. Like if he goes for an Innervate Mire Keeper here, he doesn't have a follow-up with it just yet. So Wild Growth would be potentially a huge draw. Here, well...
Would you Innervate now?
I don't think it does anything. I would probably just Hero Power, because next turn having 4 mana doesn't help you. I mean, he could be hoping to pick up something he can play later, but I wouldn't mind just Hero Powering now and maybe going for like an Innervate Drake on turn 3, and then just go for the Mire Keeper on 4 and Emperor after that.
Yeah, it seems to be a much more clean use of the mana.
Okay.
Dizdemon says, you know what, I'm just going to ramp anyways, potentially pick up something better, also have the board advantage, because 3/3 does answer these 1/1s.
The way I look at this is like, it's kind of a high-risk, high-reward play. If he finds something strong to play next, then maybe like a Fun Troll or any like a 4-mana play, it's going to be doing just fine, but as it is, like, he doesn't have anything, so... Yeah, so now that not doing that much, and what he ended up doing was just give Grayj a strong turn 2 there over just Hero Powering phase.
It does feel a little bit sketchy, though, because of the fact that Dizdemon is playing the Malygos version versus Grayj is playing the token version. So if Grayj was making that play, he's playing to Violet Teacher, for example, to play on 4 to try to get it on the board presence. Dizdemon had a high likelihood of just whiffing, which he just did.
I really didn't like that one bit there, just based on the fact that he didn't have a follow-up to it. Grayj taking kind of a lead right now. He's going to have that Mire Keeper, so he will be at 5 mana next turn. Dizdemon will get his first Drake on the board, but Grayj already has trade for it, so he will be able to both play his own Drake and just trade off for his opponent's Drake.
The purpose of Innervate is to get yourself the tempo onto the board early, or to snowball into something. So maybe you like, you know, innervate a Wrath or innervate Swipe or something like that. And then Dizdemon passed with 2 mana remaining, or actually essentially 4.
Yeah.
So he just basically gave up the value that innervate is supposed to help him snowball from there.
Yeah.
And that's the point of which, you know, me and Spheats feel a little bit confused there. Maybe Dizdemon felt like if he was getting like Raven Idol, or if he got, like you said, Fandral, or perhaps another Mire Keeper, those were the outs that he was playing.
Yeah, there were a bunch of cards that he could have drawn from the top that would have made that play be extremely good. Maybe even Wild Growth would have been fine. He got a Wild Growth hero power there. So it's not like strictly a mistake, but a little bit fun, like an unnecessary risk in my books. But here he has those 2 Drakes and the Norris. He could be considering the Norris here, but I would probably lean towards the Drake here. I wouldn't hate like nourishing for mana, I suppose, because the Drakes will be drawing some, but yeah, I think this is kind of the strongest play, because this early on in the game, having the 4/4 minion on the board is also quite significant. If he didn't, if he just went for the Nourish there, he would have been facing a kind of a difficult board to deal with later on, and there would be a lot of like damage kind of stacking up over multiple turns.
How good is this Innervate card being drawn right now? Would you want to use it and skip the Ancient of War, but get, you know, keep some more minion presence on the board?
I don't know. Like I don't think like kind of the same situation as for Dizdemon when he went for his Innervate. Like I don't see a strong follow up to this. If he went for the Innervate Power of the Wild, the Giant would still be 7 mana next turn, so he would not be able to play it. So it would result in a weak turn for Grayj on the following turn. So I really like just holding on to the Innervate for now.
Yeah, and not to mention that it's also a proper mana curve for the following turns. You Innervate out the Giant, which would be 8 mana, and then you play Ancient of War on 7 mana. Very strong back-to-back turns. Good planning here from Grayj.
Yep, Dizdemon going for an Ember, and that's quite a bit of value with it. Having those 2 nourishes. Also the Drake Wrath is something that gives him a great tempo potentially.
Yeah, and that's something you do want to kill. It has disrupted the plans from Grayj, so mulching that, wouldn't blame him. Would you just play Power of the Wild as a 3/2 as well, just to add board pressure?
How does it line up with the Arcane Giant? Like, it might be helpful for him to just play a spell to reduce the mana cost on the Giant, so he could do that. I mean, yeah, it's kind of valuable to have the Power of the Wilds later too, but he does have 2.
Yeah, 2 gets a little clunky because you don't have the Violet Teachers or the Fandral in hand, and that's when having 2 gets absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I like the mulch here. Nothing else really seemed to make sense. If he went for Ancient of War or Arcane Giant, he would have been unable to deal with that Emperor, and that would have led into disaster. Another round of discounts for Dizdemon with a huge hand. I wouldn't have seen much chance for Grayj moving forward. Big Game Hunter. Wow, from the mulch. That might be very good later on.
Yeah.
Just from the mulch, so that's actually really awesome. Like if you hear Dizdemon, you're like, oh well, that deals with an Arcane Giant.
What's really funny is that Druids used to play Big Game Hunter until Big Game Hunter was nerfed, and then it was replaced by Mulch. Yep. So there's a lot of delicious irony in what just happened.
That's quite hilarious, I have to say.
Oh man, nourishing for cards, just trying to improve the quality of his hand, and got some pretty good ones. Swipe and Giant, if you can just continue to reduce the cost of that, will be really effective.
Yeah, that Emperor is so good there. He is able to nourish and deal with that Drake now, and Dizdemon's hand is just looking so great. Doesn't have anything on the board, and he has taken quite a bit of damage. He is down to 19 for now, with no healing inside, but still. Oh, man, heavy uproots. Well, I mean...
Heavy uproots, oh, man.
I mean, you wouldn't really want to do that, because something like Spell Power Swipe or like Swipe Wrath, it wouldn't be worth the risk.
I mean, I do want to call attention to that if Grayj has been playing really defensive with Power of the Wilds, and obviously we have the caster vision of like knowing what is in Demon's hands, but if he can be, you know, more aggressive with Power of the Wild, he's pushing all this damage. And, you know, his opponent's at 19 threatening. It would have been an opportunity to see if he can push it.
It does kind of look like that Grayj does have to make something happen very quickly because of the value that this demon has gotten from the Nourish, and now the second Nourish. But on the other hand, like for Grayj just going for the Power to Wilds, that might not be a winning line of play, even though it would give him a little bit of pressure. So by holding on the 2 Power to Wilds, something like a Violet Teacher would suddenly make the hand quite amazing.
Well, this got awkward really quickly. Dizdemon drew nothing he could play for 2 mana or less besides it. And, okay.
Oh, well, but that was such a weak turn there, though.
Yeah. I mean, Moonfire is in general a weak card. Only works well with Malygos. And in this case, Arcane Giant.
And he placed Arcane Giant. Oh, Dizdemon just waiting with the Big Game Hunter. I don't think he's going to rope before he does that play. I mean, or maybe he does want to just kind of like consider all of his options before going for it, but it's gonna happen.
All right. So we have a big game hunter target, and then we could play. We have 5 men remaining. We could play our own giant, or is there another option that we can explore?
Trying to see if there's like a. I mean, you could hold under the big game. You know that your opponent is playing 2 arcane giants, so you don't necessarily have to big game hunt the first one. But it's such a huge like swing that it's hard to pass up.
It's also extremely demoralizing.
It really
to
is.
shut down Grayj.
Oh man,
I've got the beast in my
Oh, the reaction from Grayj just says it all.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Like
That's a sound clip I haven't heard in a while. Hey, there you go. Paying off with the holding on the power of the wilds.
Oh yeah.
And that's a really strong board.
Yeah, and even if this aggression doesn't pay off, which it very well might, that is such a strong board right now. He still has the Yorkshire on to kind of like fall back on. And,
well, yeah, that's a really intimidating board.
It really is, but he does have 2 swipes, and now he also picked up a Rot, so yeah, there should be some kind of board clear, or at least close to a board clear available to him. He could like double swipe the Ancient of War. Yeah, and then like make 2 trades with Rot for 1. That would, for example, do it. Other options. There's probably a bunch of ways to do it, but he's at 12 HP, so I would expect him to go for the clear here. Probably saving the Feral Rage and the Moonclade, kind of like get back up next turn. He does not need to heal just yet, because Dizdemon does know that Grayj is not playing the Malygos version, but instead playing like this token variant. So 12 HP is something that he's certainly comfortable with. Yep. Did he Wrath for 1?
Yeah, he rat for 1 on
okay,
one of the Panthers.
All right, I was just like looking. Did he draw that? But yeah, as he should.
Okay. So Drake, he has a swipe, and now he's starting to dump his hand. This is a strategy that you see a lot of people use with Yogg-Saron to use him as a refill and to address the board state. It also could just kill your opponent if he's at too low HP, but we know with inclusion of Moonclade Portals, 2 Feral Rages, it's unlikely that Dizdemon will allow himself to be put in a really bad position.
Oh yeah, I would expect this to be a heal turn one way or another.
Right.
Starting with the Raven Idol seems fine.
Yeah. Can't take up a lot of spells to help him. Oh, speaking of heals.
I mean, he could use the healing touch for also healing, and then maybe there's quite a few options here. I don't think he's gonna pick the Nourish because he already has so much cards in his hand, and even the Auctioneer. So it comes down to whether he wants to try to get a new one with the Raven Idol or just go for the heal. But being down at 10 HP, even with the healing in his hand, it's kind of like picking the healing touch here allows him to use the Feral Rage offensively more easily.
Right, right. Dizdemon Moonclade portaling first, see what minion he gets. Kidnapper.
Yep. There could be some arguments made in favor of like wait, no, you can't get that. I was thinking of the Naga Sewage, but you can't get that one because you get 6 shots. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would have been nuts if that was the case.
Oh yeah.
Raven Idol before the Yogg-Saron. Claw can also fit in as well.
Yeah, I think this is the time. I mean, Mire Keeper doesn't really do anything, so.
Soul the Forest.
Pick the Claw.
Synergy.
Yeah, pick the Claw. Play the Inner Weight and just play the Claw, play the Inner Weight, and just see what happens.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah, you could say so.
Yeah, let's see what happens with Yogg. His goals are going to be primarily just to make sure that he has board advantage and draw back some of the cards.
Yeah, both the Roar and the Soul of the Forest kind of suck here. He already played both of his Power of the Wilds, and there's no sign of Teacher, so like with Teacher, yeah, Soul of the Forest can't find a lot of value, but this doesn't seem like the situation for it.
The land serves
Okay, I see. So, Grayj wants his opponent to load more onto the board before he plays his Yogg-Saron. Right now, he feels like there's too much chance for Yogg-Saron to die, and then, target himself after killing Kidnapper. Wants to have more of a swing.
Yep. I would have probably personally just went for the Yogg there, but I guess this is fine too. Now he might be able to like pick up something from the top, add more spells to it maybe. So not too bad. It's going to be Dizdemon going for it.
Really? And he's choosing not to kill anything off first, so any combo effects are also reduced.
I don't know if he needed to do this. Like he did have that healing though, so this seems a little bit maybe unnecessary to me, and there are bad results that could happen here.
Yeah. Contrary to popular opinion, there are capable things, like if he Astral Communions?
Yeah, Yeah.
It didn't feel like he needed to do it. Okay, although that is a lot of damage. 12 from that Yogg-Saron. Imagine if it picks up Wind Fury of some kind.
Nice brawl.
And Yogg-Saron is defeated. Oh, second brawl.
Backstab, that's okay. Lets him kind of like clean that. Oh, or not. Does not let him clean it up from the board.
All right. And is that it?
Yeah,
that was it.
That didn't really do anything at all.
Yeah.
Let's just return the Mire Keepers to the hand.
Wow, Yogg-Saron's just not really having it.
Yeah, that ended up being terrible for Dizdemon.
That was 10 mana, sap your opponent's Mire Keeper.
Oh man, what? Yes, Grayj has a chance here to pick up a Power of the Wild that he could innervate after the teacher. So Power of the Wild, certainly the card he's looking for here. Does not get it.
Okay, but still he has the Innervate Wild Growth cycle, and his opponent used both swipes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind just seeing that. Let's just pick another. But he played both of his own powers, so
right.
So he couldn't like pick up another one. But it is a lot of 1/1s. But I probably like the better choice. I mean, you're never picking the Claw here, right?
No, I would say rather Innervate.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking for. Now, he does know that Dizdemon played Raven Idol.
He could double Innervate the Mire Keeper here. That's probably like the maximum pressure that he could do. So I wouldn't hate that, because the swipes are gone. So you could have gotten like 2 1/1s, get a 3/3 and a 2/2. Could have been okay.
Yeah, could have been fine as well. I actually don't really hate anything that he chooses here, really. Whether or not he plays the Mire Keeper or chooses to play it a little bit conservatively with the Wild Growth instead.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. The Innervate ended up being like just spawn a 1/1 and get a hero power to his opponent's face.
I'm trying to think like how much damage. I think because he's generated 2 extra tokens from that Wild Growth as opposed to the Mire Keeper generating 5 power, that would have been 3 damage lost. And right now he has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power. That actually would be a difference maker, assuming that he'd be able to attack with everything and all of his minions survived.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred the Mire Keeper there, but yeah, might work out still. Like if there was some kind of board clear, maybe like a Raven Idol swipe or something, so then he has a better chance to kind of recover with the Mire Keeper and Moonclade Portal that he ended up picking up from the Wild Growth.
No, that's a good point. Both portals were, or both Raven Idols were used, and he still hasn't seen what it was. So he wasn't sure if Starfall might have also come to the hand. Yep. You see Starfire able to remove his Violet Teacher. Dizdemon also has that healing touch to buy some time.
Yeah.
A little bit awkward.
Seemed like he was considering taking an aggressive approach here, but he does not have the Malygos just yet. So.
Wow. He's playing with fire. He's so weak. He's such low HP.
Reckless Rocketeer would be lethal.
Oh man. Don't even say that, Savis. That would have been that's just like a heartbreaking way to end the game here for Dizdemon.
Oh man.
Okay.
But if he makes the attack first, he wants to maximize the heal here. But now if he got the Rocketeer, it would actually no longer be lethal. It would be 1 damage off.
Ancient Harbinger. Now, that card would usually bring you a Yogg-Saron, but it's unfortunately already in the hand for Grayj. Very fun card when you get off Moonclade Portal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Dizdemon out of cards.
Wait a minute.
So Gadget's like a real big liability. He might actually doesn't have any more resources. Grayj fatigues his opponent out.
So he, wait a minute. Oh, the Malygos. He played the Yogg, right? And was there like a tracking in it? Wait, how am I? I'm a little bit lost right now. Malygos was missing, and Dizdemon also there, probably wondering where his dragon is at. Like, so unfortunate, but we were talking about it at the moment he played the Yogg-Saron, that it might have been a little bit unnecessary. Like, he was doing just fine in the game, and that Yogg eventually did end up costing him the game. I believe that with that Malygos, his chances to win would have been extremely high, if not even like a guaranteed win.
Yeah, there's 2 things there. First, his opponent had a Mire Keeper on board, and he had removal. He had Living Roots. Yep. I mean, he could have used Moonfires there to remove as well and just kind of play it safe until his Giants or Malygos came in the hand. The second thing is, the second Yogg-Saron gets a lot better than the first one, because then you can use it to try to answer your opponent's board that he used to create. So, you know, when you're in that much of a position, you know, if you're not threat of dying, maybe you just play passive Healing Touch yourself, you know, take it a little bit slow, and then Yogg-Saron back.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit unfortunate, but also maybe it could have been avoided if he played it a little bit different. But here we go into the next game, and Dizdemon is going to be playing his Malygos Druid and trying to not discard it this time. Grayj is going to be piloting his his control warrior with that Yoxaron as well.
That's right. Even warriors are getting in on the party in Karazhan. The Yoxaron party, of course.
Yep, and Grayj with that Fire War Axe, so if there is an early Mire Keeper, which looks like it might just happen here, he will have an easy way to deal with it.
Now, would you save this Innervate coin for the Emperor Thorson the following turn?
No, I would probably like. Oh, I think I would have maybe went for like an Innervate Mire Keeper for mana, then.
10 coin Nourish.
Yeah, I guess it's fine to also hold on to it, like just get greedy. He does play an Auctioneer in his list, so. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Like he can take it slow. There is that Fiery War Axe, so the Mire Keeper would have just died on the board.
Okay.
Can't blame him with this.
Yeah, taking it really slow.
Yeah, this lines up pretty well with that Nourish before the Emperor too, so he will be able to first fill his hand and then get the sweet Emperor discount on all of those cards.
Yeah, Grayj is not wasting time anymore. He's just instantly playing his Lee Starseeker and just trying to get Dizdemon and corner him. The Druid versus the Control Warrior matchup generally does favor the Control Warrior pretty significantly as long as they understand the win conditions and how to play their strategies effectively. Primarily making sure that, one, they always control the board away from Druid, because Druids, when they're not playing the token strategies, are not actually very board-centric. They're very passive and drawing a ton of cards and trying to combo their opponents in this matchup.
That is true. I actually talked with Dizdemon about this particular matchup yesterday, and I was wondering if there's enough damage to maybe kill the opponent with the Malygos list, but Dizdemon said that get just an Auctioneer is one of the key cards, and most important thing to do is to just try to get through your deck as quickly as possible. Just draw many cards and try to kind of like overwhelm the warrior before they draw into all of the removal.
Right. You know, for lack of a better comparison, it does function very similar to how Miracle Rogue lines up against Control Warrior.
Yep.
You have a couple of significant big threats that can come and pressure the opponent, but you just want to draw a lot faster and basically make Warrior have the right resources at the right time, which won't always happen, or even outvalue them because you're drawing so much.
Yeah, sometimes the rogues can also like pick up aggressive early lines with maybe like Gold Bloods and Conceals against Warrior, but yeah, like just getting those powerful cycle turns, it is a huge deal. Grayj finding a Justicar True Heart.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is. Some players even, I think it might have been Dizdemon who said it, but in this matchup, that Justicar True Heart might even be a starting hand keep card, which a little bit puzzles me. Like you kind of still want to be curving out okay, so I think it feels a little bit risky. But against the Malygos Druid, like it's a great card to have, and getting those early tank ups, they really do add up.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Azure Drake to draw. Could also cycle the Wrath to try and dig deeper into his deck, but also remove the least with the Living Roots.
Yep. Few options here. He could also like innervate the second Drake and go like Moonfire.
Okay.
Moonfire Living Roots if he doesn't want to save those. Like there's a few options.
Yep, that's also a possibility as well.
There would be like a fair bit of pressure, but he might also want to be like holding on to those for now, and that's really getting the cycle that he said that he values very highly in this matchup.
Well, he didn't value it highly enough to part ways with Living Roots.
Nope, looks like it. He does have more ways to draw. Like Azure Drake is going to draw, and second Rot might also be drawing. There's still a second Nourish somewhere in the deck as well.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, given that when you have things like 1 mana Wrath and 0 mana Living Roots, that's a lot of burst that comes from Malygos.
Yeah,
you might need that to win the game.
Yeah. And well, you kind of still need it quickly because, like, Warrior can get all those armor effects from multiple different sources, like Shield Block, and not just the hero power, also Ironforge Portal, Bash. So, like Moonfire Living Roots with the Malygos as a win condition is a little bit like less reliable unless you get a good amount of minion damage in early on as well.
That's why I really like this Druid deck these days, the Malygos Druid. I know a lot of people are up in arms about the results based off how Yogsron's outcome happens, but if you look at the 29 other cards of the deck, it's actually a very elaborate deck that has a lot of complex interactions with whether or not it's very defensive and has to play the removal game, or very fast and draw, or do you use Malygos for the burst finish, or do you just use it for removal versus stalling and other ways to win the game? I love the deck.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Like Yoxaron might sometimes like make that deck look a little bit like a straightforward type of thing, like you play the York, but I don't think that's the case at all. Like it's a very difficult deck to pilot properly as well. Like this is just so many like small decisions. What do you innervate out? When do you play your like threats, and how greedy do you get?
So Dizdemon, awkward position, you know. Does he? How does he part ways with some of his removal here to kill off this Grom?
Like he's going to go for a Vandal and just base tank that. That then he does get the 8 armor, so it should be completely fine. He is up against the Control Warrior, and he does know that there isn't really any burst, so just base tanking that, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess it's fine because Warrior's still not really bursting outside of that Gromish. The only other source of burst, in quotation marks, is Gorehowl.
Yep. The first Giant comes down. Just gonna go for the Brawl here. Wow, yeah, Grayj knows that Dizdemon is not playing the token version, so... Oh no! It's the worst result. That it was a 50-50, and it was the risk that he chose to take, and now he kind of has to pay the price.
Yeah, nice. You can shield block, shield slam, and remove the Giant, but it is very costly.
It really is. That hurts, knowing that your opponent has a lot of burst damage potentially later. There he has to base tank that 8. Maybe would have been... Oh yeah, his base just says it all. He's not happy with how that turn played out. Whether he was unhappy with the Brawl result or the decision to go for the Brawl, that we can't know.
Yeah, especially when he got a second shield block as well. You know, so I think what he's thinking about is what he could have done shield block into the shield block, clean removals and stuff. Either way, you know, Dizdemon gonna continue to get the pressure on by drawing a lot of cards. Now the second Giant can cycle Wild Growth, make that 0 mana. And that's one of the powers of our King Giants here, and that's why people consider it one of the most powerful cards in Karazhan.
So far, this game has been going exactly like Dizdemon described that he would want it to be going, like just perfectly so far. He gets that Auctioneer. There's a lot of potential to draw with it next turn. With the Wild Growth, for example, just for 1 mana, he will be able to draw 2 additional cards with the Auctioneer. Just gonna go for the swipe here. Figures out that he won't need it for later on. Discounts the Giants, also make some room for the cards, so he won't struggle with having too many cards after the Auctioneer is done with all the drawing action.
I like it. I like it a lot. Making sure you can just dig through your deck, like you mentioned. Acolyte of Pain. Just drawing cards, too, because Grayj needs to find a way to deal with this. Execute usually the best way. I was originally looking at Sylvanas being played, but he just chose to draw cards very fast.
I wouldn't have hated them. He seemed to be going once again for like more like a high-risk, high-reward player there. I would have preferred the Sylvanas too. Like there was a fair chance that he finds something else than an execute, and now it's just like we would much rather have the Sylvanas than the 1/1 and the 2/2.
All right, so the cycle games continue here. Youngstron coming to the hand for both these players.
Oh man!
Another Wild Growth. Does he need to draw more cards?
He actually has to be careful now with his hand size.
Yeah, he has 4 9 cards, I believe, and Wild Growth plus the cycle draws 3 cards.
Yep.
He could also play 1 Wild Growth and just hold on to the excess mana and not choose to play it. You can just like play...
Still too many cards, right?
Yeah, if he plays Raven Idol, I think he has too many cards now too.
Yeah, like that's another spell. I think he's overdrawing no matter what here.
Yeah.
So that was kind of awkward, to be honest. Well, maybe it won't matter. That's the leaving route, so he's going back to 10 cards.
Burns Malygos, it really will matter.
It might, but I mean, there's so much power still in with that, like swipe and Feral Rage. The Moonfires, however, will be. The Moonfires will be terrible after the Malygos gets burned, but that'll be the second time in this match that the Malygos does not end up in his hand.
Oh man! Imagine if that's the case.
Yeah. That would be painful, but once again, it would be kind of like self-inflicted. And
here we go.
Here we go. Here's the Yoxeron from Grayj.
Okay. The end turn button is not green, so you can attack.
It's like maybe one of the hounds is alive. It's not going to be all that many spells, but it's gonna buff his opponent. Where does Gold go?
Oh.
And the Hero Bar gets replaced. Well, I think we're done here.
Well, I had a chance to do something impactful. Bane of Doom kills Summon Demon.
Yeah.
I told you. All right, well, I think he's just... Does he have lethal?
That is the Moonfire's leaving route. That's 4. Another 4 from the Feral Rage.
Yeah.
4 from the swipe. So yeah, this is going to do it. So this demon, even without this Malygos, is going to be able to take this one.
What if in some weird world he was taking too much fatigue damage also? Like, imagine if he didn't have that much health. Yeah. He's taking all this fatigue damage. He would have to play 2 more spells. That's significant damage.
That's actually...
This game was a lot closer than I thought it was. Whew.
Wait, what?
Wait. Okay. All right. We'll. Okay, he's dead.
Yep.
So looks like looks like Dizdemon was calling for an admit, but looks like nothing is the issue at all whatsoever.
I think that in the end, like this
man.
series will be kind of decided on whoever like handles the pressure better. I feel like on both sides, like Dizdemon going for the Yogg when he didn't need, which ended up like resulting in the tracking, burning the Yogg, and then overdrawing there. I do believe that could have been avoided. Maybe casting one of the spells or like earlier skipping the second wild growth that ended giving him the full hand. I really think that whoever like gets themselves together better is going to take it.
Yeah, I do feel like the series could have been improved on both sides. One of them, of course, I was asking Savitz in the break, like, you know, why didn't he play Sylvanas against a Giant when he had the chance to?
Yeah, that was really strange. Like just going for the Acolyte and going for the revenge there against that Giant. Like Sylvanas seems like completely fine play to me. And going for that play, the only way it would work out better is if he picked up exactly Execute.
Right.
Like Execute was the only one, and there was still so many cards left in his deck that it seemed like extremely desperate play, and maybe it was a little bit early for that.
Yeah, all right. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying this series. I believe we took a little bit of a bathroom break for Dizdemon, as some of these matches did go pretty intense, that Control Warrior Mirror, for example. But just to remind you guys about what they're playing for, and the fact that these guys are smack dab in the middle of best of 7. It's single elimination best of 7, so whoever wins this moves on to day 2. But if you lose, your run ends here. And remember, we're giving out one more spot for BlizzCon before last calls, which is I'm excited to find out who's going to win this tournament, but also for last call tournament. It's going to be really great.
Absolutely. In this series so far, we've seen Warrior versus Warrior, we've seen Druid versus Druid, but no more mirror matches possible. Both players now with different classes remaining.
Grayj looks so tilted and stressed,
Yeah,
man.
he does.
This is when a boy becomes a man. In the face of the fire that is the best of 7 single elimination format right now here, Grayj is being put to the test mentally.
Yeah.
For his sake, I hope he can continue to pull through. Let's go into game number 5, Rogue versus Warrior. Now this matchup is a little bit different than usual because of all the spells that Warrior has to deal with some of those early game threats. I don't think it's as easy for Rogue to snowball, considering that this Warrior has a lot of early game tools.
Yeah, and the Rogue is quite alright in this, but look at Grayj starting. Like if you're the Warrior player, it doesn't get much better than that. I don't even. What can you hope for more?
Not really much. I mean, maybe Blood to Iker, or
Like
if you really want to kill off something.
Yeah, like Execute in case there's an early Edwin one cleave, but it does look quite amazing. Having the Fire Vorax and even the card draw from the Acolyte shield block, not too bad either. Dizdemon is going to have to make something happen.
In the meantime, Dizdemon once again playing the Rogue without the coin. It just feels like...
All right. He's taking a very aggressive line here, it looks like.
Is there some kind of plot twist where we find out Dizdemon was Dennis all along, who played against Crypt like 3 years ago in the beta?
Oh man, he knows what he needs to do to win this one, and he's going to play this extremely fast. Like that just sets the pace for the entire match. Like we know what's coming. It's like it's pretty tough to be switching it up from here now.
I love it. Established dominance, Savitz. To the face.
I mean,
That's great.
It was a little bit surprising.
I mean, if it works out for him and he's able to get that damage, the whole point is that he didn't really have much to do on that turn anyways. And he's thinking, well, my opponent is not playing a minion-based deck.
Yeah.
The only Shadow Strike value I really can get is on at least Starseeker or Sylvanas, assuming I don't have a board, maybe an Ironforge Portal minion. I'm going to be trying to rush him down before he can get to the point of no return, of just having too much removal.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't feel like it was a bad play. It just caught me really off guard there.
It was so fast too, because he's playing really slow and roping very often. Comes back from the bathroom, you know, kind of pulls up the pants. It's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And there's Shadow Strikes to face immediately on turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any Violet Teachers or Fun Trolls or anything like that coming out from the Warrior, so might as well, right?
Yeah. If it works out for him, man, he's a genius. I love it.
Indeed. Bash getting picked up. That goes pretty well with the Slam if he wants to do so. Being able to deal with that Tomb Pillager and seeing that aggressive... oh, he's going to use the weapon. I was going to say that after seeing that aggressive Shadow Strike, I'm a little bit surprised that he actually chooses to use his his hero here instead of the bash. He does have 2 bashes as well.
Yeah. Another shield block, so potentially his life count is still safe.
But I mean, with 2 bashes, he could have avoided taking that extra 5.
Yeah, it does feel like that was an option for sure.
Alright, but Dizdemon did not pick up an auctioneer. That would have been the best possible draw for him here. He did have that coin and the conceal ready, also a preparation, but he does get only an SH. And I think the situations like this is where you can really tell like how good a player is. It's not when you get good cards when you're like a good player. No, it's when you get some kind of like mediocre hands or a little bit like awkward hands. Like how do you like give yourself the best chance to kind of like get out of troublesome situations? I would expect Dizdemon to go extremely aggressive and take some big risks here.
Yep. And using the conceal here to make sure that he can get that questing adventure damage in. And very eloquently put. It's not about playing the good hands, it's about playing the bad ones. And Dizdemon doesn't have the greatest hand to attack his opponent. But let's see how much he can make of it. He's got a pretty aggressive follow-up with Cold Bloods and the South Sea deckhand. Grayj, no brawl. And that Sylvanas is so scary because you know that Rogue can just sap it.
Yeah, I really would not like to see that Sylvanas there. It's such a high-risk play because of the sap that you mentioned. And like the decision to face tank the 2 villager also, like it just puts his life total at a dangerously low level, considering how much power is already on the board and how much more can the adventure potentially be doing. Oh, well, there's the auctioneer for next turn. So if this aggressive play does not work out, there's still a chance for this demon to kind of like recover with that auctioneer.
Okay, well, how would you choose to go about this? You don't want to use a Cold Blood. Yeah, it's just only spell to really cycle with auctioneer.
Looks like he's a little bit like switching gears here and not gonna Cold Blood and go aggressive anymore because of that auctioneer pickup. Because it does give him like kind of like an additional way to potentially win the game.
Makes sense to me. Now Grayj gonna remove this this board as efficiently as he can here.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Having 2 bashes here, not too bad. He did have like a slam too, so and maybe like Ravaging Ghoul. There were a lot of he could have done, but yeah, that's a great turn, Grayj, and Dizdemon really looking for his second conceal for that auctioneer.
Yeah, if he can find a second conceal, he can get that Cold Blood damage in twice. 2 preparations.
Wow. So if he, with the first preparation, if he picks up something like a Fan of Knives, that could open up a lot of other opportunities for him.
Okay. Attaching Cold Blood.
Yeah. There we
sure.
go.
Get the damage in if you can pick up something else to protect a second conceal.
That is the draw, but now sequence it carefully. You want to first probably attack. Like, I mean, he could pick up a second Cold Blood, but you probably want to conceal that deckhand. So if he conceals first here, might not work out that well. He could also consider like just eviscerating his opponent's face, but
he's counting his damage. 6, 10, 11 this turn, plus assuming it survives. We know that, of course, the Ravaging Ghoul prevents it from surviving. But he's just counting just in case.
That conceal right there was such a huge draw.
And there it is. Needs to find just a little bit more damage. Second eviscerate.
Grayj does have a Ravaging Ghoul in his hand, so he can take out that South Sea deckhand, but there is no way to deal with the auctioneer right now.
No.
And can't really get much armor either, so...
Yeah, and that's the point of struggle for some of these control decks, and that's where Rogue punishes the hardest, and that's the strategy that Dizdemon came in. He banned Shaman, very well aware that that deck is extremely powerful against Rogue.
Yeah, Dizdemon right now looking for, I believe, is it 2 additional points of damage. Eviscerate with that auctioneer would be 8 damage. Another hero power attack would be additional 1, so he's 2 damage off right now. He does have 1 more Cold Blood in the deck. I'm not sure if there's another Deadly Poison maybe there.
Yeah, it could be. He's going for Eviscerate to the face, gets a Cold Blood.
And there it is.
And there it is. And you mentioned from the beginning of this game that it's going to be a little bit awkward for Dizdemon. But hey, who Shadow Strike the face in the very beginning?
Yeah, it ended up working so well. Like, when would he have even used that Shadow Strike? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because the Shadow Strike would have, I mean, probably on like an Elite Starseeker mid-game, but it would have made his plays awkward. And remember, he couldn't get that 5 damage in elsewhere after he hit the face for the first time.
Yep.
So, you know, a very fast decision on turn 3 ends up working out in the favor of Dizdemon, and I am very impressed by that Rogue win.
Yeah, that was so well played by Dizdemon. He did get some good draws from the top. In particular, the second conceal was great. Having those double preparations for the auctioneer, but he really like maximized his chances of winning that one. And yeah, the plays that he chose to do really paid off. And now he's one game away from advancing to the semifinals.
Dizdemon is up 3-2. Savita's horse looking pretty primed and ready to go. He has to win one more with Shaman, and people put that as the best deck currently in the game.
Yeah, after that last game by Dizdemon, I'm really proud of my pick. And now he has 2 chances to win this one. He's going to be playing with his aggro shaman, or playing his aggro shaman right now, and going up against the 2 decks from Grayj. One of them being the Nuzot Hunter. And
I just want him to play that right now. Just get it out of the way. You know?
Yeah, I really want to see it as well. I mean, there are, I believe, some explosive traps in there to kind of like counter some aggro. Yeah, he does play 2 explosive traps, so those are cards that he decked in with Shaman in particular in mind. But
ooh, let's go.
We have still so slow.
We have the Nuzot Hunter. Grayj doesn't have a turn 1 play, looking for that fiery bat.
Yeah.
Very important to have that start against the Shaman deck. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of players also experiment with death rattle aspects of Hunter. For example, I think just last week, I want to even say that it was one of our finalists. I think maybe it was Teray, but one of them had Princess Hooveron in their Hunter necklace as well, and they got really far with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine card, and there's like a kind of an obvious gap at 5 mana for Hunter players. Nothing seems to fit too well, so I can imagine Hooveron being an alright pick, kind of to make the curve a little bit better and not just go from Infested Wolf directly to the high main.
Which is what Grayj's deck list is. There's no 5-mana minion. There's no 7-mana minion. It goes Infested Wolf, Savannah High Main, Call of the Wild, then Nuzot. 2 by 2 they go.
And that's the same for a lot of players. Some players were decked in had decked in something like 1 copy of the minion that gives your beasts charge, and Stampeding Coda used to be a thing at some point, but we haven't been seeing any Stampeding Codos in Hunters in recent days. Oh, that is such a huge deal right there.
There you go. That's what the Hunter needs.
He gets a hover too. Wow, those were some fast turns of events. I was like looking at this Demon's start. Oh, that's pretty good, but Grayj there, getting that trade with his 2-drop with the Totem Golem, and now, wow, it's just...
This was super impactful.
Yeah,
the fact that it's not even necessarily that Hunter's ahead. I mean, it is important, but I think the really big important thing too, by the way, Maelstrom board, I'm very thankful.
Yep.
Is that the fact that he's just not falling too far behind early on. Because we know Hunter's late game is pretty crazy. You know, he's got 2 Call of the Wilds, he's got Nuzot and Savannah High Mains. But, you know, Shaman will eventually win the board early on. You just have to make sure not to lose too hard.
Quite often, yeah. And then Grayj does play those 2 Unleash the Hounds that could potentially kind of like swing the game back. But yeah, a good Barnes there. There are a lot of Death Rattle minions, so it's not like Grayj got extremely lucky here. And the chances to pick up something with the impactful Death Rattle are extremely high for the Hunter.
All right, well now turn 5, usually you see the Hunter, sorry, not the Hunters. He has the Hunter hero power. The Shamans really lean towards playing Doomhammer to get it out early to help control the board, put some pressure on. He has 2 of them too in the hand. But he also is a little bit clunky mana-wise for the next few turns, especially considering that his board is behind as well.
Yeah, it's pretty tempting to be playing a Doomhammer here. Like, getting value out of both Doomhammers is nearly impossible. He's going to choose to go with the Flame-Rated Faceless here. He knows that he still needs to deal a lot of damage to his opponent. His opponent is at 29 at this point, so just the Doomhammers would not be enough to kind of like get the job done. And goes for the 7-7. It looks like the 7-7 is going to potentially connect to a face here.
Yeah. It allows him to be aggressive right back.
Yep.
Dizdemon picks up the thing from below and can reduce it to as cheap as 3 if he plays his other totems. And now Dizdemon also has to consider things like, you know, what secret was being played, but he knows that it's explosive trap because he knows the deck lists.
Yeah, the deck lists are public, so Dizdemon well aware that that trap is exactly explosive trap, and it might be a consideration not to be giving his... Oh, I don't... Okay, so he has to be trading with the 7-7, but... Okay, 7-7 trades because he didn't want to go face with the 7-7, and he didn't want his other minions to get the damage.
That's a lot of damage to be missing.
That's just a... Yeah, okay. Alright, that's a lot of damage. And Grayj only looking at Unleash the Hounds and
it's the reason why it's weird is because you know that it's explosive trap, so why not at least have the 1/2 trade into the Barnes to at least give you a little bit of damage on that minion.
I mean, this way he does keep his Flame Tongue at full HP, so there's that, but it's worth it? I'm not sure. Might be.
Okay, yeah, that also makes sense if you want to keep Flame Tongue a little bit higher HP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the 1 damage to the Barnes wouldn't have mattered all that much. But here I would believe that we are going to see some trades happening at least for that 3-2.
Sure, that also is probably the best thing to do here. In this situation, Hunter's been the more aggressive opponent here.
Yeah, and Grayj winning the race pretty big time right now. Does have that bow and has that explosive trap up. Even though Nozot is not for this matchup and it is in his hand kind of like being a dead card. It's just the way that the early turns lined up really like put Grayj in a good position.
So Dizdemon, does he need to play the taunt here?
Oh yeah, I do think so. Just playing the Doomhammer, like, can you win the race? It's just, I don't know. I think that I'm kind of going for like more defensive play here with the thing from below. It might give him a tiny bit better chance, but it certainly is a tough position to be at.
If you play Doomhammer, you can get 8 damage over 2 turns plus the hero power and the lava burst the following turn.
Yeah.
And that's only 10, 15 damage. Unfortunately, it's not enough. You'd be short 5. So that's definitely not a viable line to play for Dizdemon.
Yeah, we do have the caster side here, so we know that Grayj doesn't have like a reliable way to deal with that taunt right now, but Dizdemon is kind of going to get rewarded for having that. And now the 9-1 Flame Rated Faces is actually going to get a good trade.
Yeah.
He found good value from it. A little bit maybe unfortunate for Grayj to be picking up the Misha in this situation, but it is 1 out of the 3, and the first Animal Companion that he played was very favorable for him in form of the Huffer.
All right, well, Grayj is definitely a ways away from killing his opponent, while Dizdemon is looking for ways to be aggressive right back.
Yeah,
I want to see if he can set up a Doomhammer this turn, because the Tuskar Totemic has a high chance of doing nothing as well. The only way you can is if it gets like maybe like healing totems or Totem Golem itself.
Yeah, the Flame Rated trading for the 4/4 seems like the obvious play here, but the rest of this is a little bit of a mess because of the way that the board is set up with that explosive chop. So he's going to push the 5 damage here.
So you think he uses a Doomhammer to clean up or to go face?
I think that he might just go face here and hope for the best. I wouldn't blame him for trading for the 3-2 because the 3-2 is offering a trade right now for the 5-3, and the next draw better be a good one for Grayj because Dizdemon does have that Lava Burst ready and waiting.
Oh,
get to kill command.
Is that enough? I think it might be just enough here. Exact.
Wow.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the game here, and I think the consequence was about the same either way here because he had the both beasts on the board. Unless he killed both beasts, right?
Such a close game there.
Wow. Now we go into game number 7 with the Shaman versus Warrior. Now, what do you think about this Warrior up against the aggressive Shaman? Remember, this is the spell-heavy Yogg-Saron Warrior.
It really is. I don't think the Yogg-Saron is going to help so much because it's an expensive card, so that is not exactly what he would like to have in this situation. But he does have a lot of tools to deal with that. The spell-heavy version with the double Blood to Ikers, with the double Revenge. There's so many spells, so many removal that I do think that Grayj is going to be a favorite going into this one. Quite heavily, actually, because there's also double Ironforge Portal. He has like every single armoring card possible besides Armor Smith.
Probably just type spell into the search bar and just put everything in there that's not Rampage in charge.
Yeah. So much stuff, but Grayj does not find a Fiery War Axe. That's one of the more important cards to have in the early game to kind of like prevent the board from snowballing too badly. Dizdemon does have a turn 1, but no turn 2. Oh no! Okay, I actually have like something I want to tell you about the Lightning Storm. That was the one card that Dizdemon mentioned to me was something that he regretted having in his decks because he was predicting more aggressive lineups, and if that Lightning Storm ends up being dead, it might just get him knocked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does have plays for this turn, but the next turn's a little bit awkward, and perhaps if you replace Lightning Storm with, Flame Juggler, that could have been a little bit better, or it depends on what else you wanted to do and include to his deck list.
But certainly not optimal in this matchup. Grayj with that great Blood to Icarus start He's going to have a slam and a clean trade for that totem column that can oftentimes be very tricky to deal with.
Oh, yikes. Looks like Dizdemon is stuck hero powering this turn. That's the downside of Overload, preventing him from being able to use all 3 of his mana crystals.
That's true. Like the thing that we see here that kind of is good for this demon, however, is that the Flame Wreather, the Faceless, is not going to have a counter
Look
from
at that.
Grayj's side.
Oh my goodness, perfect ability to snipe all these 1/1s with the Ravaging Ghoul. This is what you need to be able to stabilize this warrior, but here comes the real test.
Like that's the real test, but oh well.
You can remove it now.
Yes, he can. He could have removed it as well with like a bash and coin revenge, but that's probably gonna be better. Just go for the shield slam. Go for the shield block first, go for the shield slam afterwards, and just trade in the ghoul.
Okay. So Warrior has stabilized for now. Now, just because they stabilized here doesn't mean that the game has been decided by any means. Ooh. That being a potential thing that really starts swinging it back in his favor. Totem Golem off the Tuskar Totemic is not pretty.
Yeah, like oftentimes this is like it's something that's kind of like almost demoralizing to see from the opponent. But in this situation, it was actually like the least that this demon kind of could hope for. He's doing so bad that was something that he certainly needed, and he's still losing, I would say.
Yeah. At least he's above 20 health. Usually when you're like in the teens, it starts getting really scary around this point because Doomhammer came up. But he still has ways to be defensive, remove a little bit of the board. He's playing Acolyte because he needs to improve the quality of his hand.
Yep.
This game is going fast and furious, though.
It really is. This Tuskar Totemic. If he picks up something good from it. But there is the Brawl waiting, so that might get played, but don't. I would say that's pretty good. This demon has a decision here, because he might choose to play around Brawl, but I gotta say that in this matchup, in a situation like this, I think you just gotta go for it. Just play the abusive and try to push in as much damage as possible. Like hero powering, I don't know if it's gonna win the game for him, but there is the Brawl, so this might work out slightly better than the abusive would have.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, the longer you wait, especially with Acolyte on the board, the higher chance you give for them to draw the Brawl to be more impactful. However, I do also recognize that, you know, you haven't gotten your opponent to the critical health state where you're basically pushing to win.
Yeah,
you're just at 25.
There's also the double revenge that this demon knows that Grayj is playing, so can't really blame him for that. He's gonna go for a Brawl here.
Oh, choosing not to revenge and draw a card. Instead, opting to just try to see what he can get off that Brawl, and he wins the Brawl! A huge moment for Grayj, as he is able to keep his Acolyte alive, which is not necessarily imposing to threaten his opponent, but also to just draw him the cards, because he needs more cards to stabilize here.
Even a bad totem for this demon here, and just nothing going his way. Let's see if he picks up a good hero board.
Okay. He did manage to get that Hunter Hero power. Very important to keep that in check, but Jessica Truar can start pulling himself farther away from it.
I don't really think that the Hunter Hero power is going to be good enough. I think Life that might have been much better, just trying to like maybe establish some kind of board. Because unfortunately, just with the abusive and like 2 charges remaining on the Doomhammer, I can't really imagine him being able to kind of like get together enough damage.
Yikes. But I mean, I gotta say, despite the fact that this demon is able to have that early game minion curve. Oh, a second Doomhammer. Okay, so he does have more damage. Just drew 16 damage.
That's right. That's quite a bit. But the tank up is a huge deal. It kind of like negates the Doomhammer every time.
Yeah, negates the Doomhammer, but at the same time, this demon can just pick up the Rock Biters. And, you know, Grayj's at the halfway point. It's not over yet.
Certainly not over. Gorehowl not too helpful here. Just gonna go for a revenge. Maybe Elise and the tank up. Fire Warrack's also an option. Okay, so I think we're gonna see the coin tank up and the Elise after this.
Yeah, feels like the best option for him to just be defensive. You need to tank up every turn. And Dizdemon needs to find a lot of help here. I think he needs to get back-to-back Rock Biters to win the game here.
Yeah, and is even that enough? It might be.
I think it would be because he can do 12 damage per turn. That's a lot too.
That's actually like almost the same amount of damage. So he can push 6 damage this turn. Grayj is going to go back to 16. Oh, that actually
Yeah.
could potentially be enough.
It could be enough. Depending on his next draws, or depending if Grayj picks up Ironforge Portal, if he picks up Shield Block. I mean, even the Golden Monkey itself wouldn't be bad. Execute doesn't help him.
So, Dizdemon right now with 11 points of damage. So another Lava Burst. He hasn't played a single Rock Biter yet.
Oh, he gets it! And that's going to wrap up the series. Dizdemon has the 16 damage needed. Wow, that was such an explosive way to end the series. And Dizdemon goes on to the semifinals.
Yeah. I thought that he wouldn't, without the life tap, he wouldn't be able to sustain. The second Doom Hammer, that is so huge. Getting that Lava Burst, getting that Rock Biter, everything's just lined up. And Grayj, unfortunately for him, was unable to find another card to get in armor with.
Yeah, it was back and forth from the Tuskcraft Totemics to the brawls. It was an emotional roller coaster. And at the very end, Dizdemon has survived 4-3, the closest series of the day, by a long mile.
That's right, guys. I'm standing by with Dizdemon after that marathon of a match. 2.5 hours, I think that was. What was going through your mind like halfway through that series after you're already like when it was tied and it was an hour and a half in? How was that series for you?
It was really hard. I was not really in the match at the beginning. I played really bad, and I just decided to like play more quickly and hope I was playing a bit better.
Are you feeling confident moving forward in the semifinals now that you have a match under your belt on the stage?
Yeah, I think I will play better in the semifinal, and I need to hope to get to the final.
All right, man. Well, good luck. Congratulations on your win.